Hey guys, it's Bobi aka Paginator, and today we're going to be making a piece of art inspired by a loved one who has passed on. So getting started, I have a wintry-ish kind of background piece that I got from Etsy, and I will link the shop down below of where I got all of the printables for this. We are going to be using a red cardinal and a red roan horse. And yes, I know that the horse is a lot smaller than the cardinal. That's on purpose. The piece that we're going to be making today is in honor of a dear friend of my family's who passed away just barely over a year ago, like a year and 4 days or something. So I'm just going to be using first names as I tell you about this. This man's name was Dale, and he was a good friend of my dad's when they were kids. They knew each other growing up, and they stayed friends forever. Dale married a beautiful woman named Lisa, who is one of my most favorite people in the world. They raised 3 children, and they have several grandchildren now. Their kids are grown up. Their 3 children showed horses alongside my siblings and I when we did horse 4-H. Granted, I didn't do it for nearly as long as the rest of them did. And all of their kids, both my siblings and Dale's Dale's grandkids, are still involved in horse 4-H and rodeo and all kinds of horse things. So we just kind of grew up with them being like our good buddies, and Dale was their dad that, you know, drove them places and was always in a good mood, and he was kind, and I mean, he was just a good man. Worked his whole life to support his family, and shortly, to be honest, I don't remember exactly how long it was, before he passed, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and just, you know, swiftly went downhill from that point. And so we saw this man that had been like this vital working person his whole life just diminish, and it was really sad for everyone involved. And as I said, he's been gone now for just over a year. My mom wanted to give something to his wife for Christmas that she could hang in her home that would be a symbolic representation of Dale still being present in her life. And so she was researching some different symbols and things, and she learned about cardinals and the symbology of cardinals. So I am making a piece of art with a cardinal in it, and because this is in honor of Dale, we needed to have a horse. At his funeral, his youngest daughter led a riderless horse, and that horse was a red roan. So the horse that we're putting into our piece of art needs to be a red roan. Horses have various different colors. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the red roan is a gorgeous color, and it has some variation. So we'll take a second to look at this. You can see the darker reds in the head and neck and on the legs, and then this kind of lighter strawberry speckled thing, how I always think of it as strawberry speckles, throughout the body. And depending on which roan horse you're looking at, the variation in color might look different. I used to have a horse named Skip who was technically a red roan, but his color was a lot more brown, so I always called him a red roan with a suntan. He looked a little bit more like a peanut butter color, but he did have like the speckles and stuff in certain areas, which classified him as a red roan. There are also such things as blue roans, and one of my favorite horses ever in life was a blue roan. We can talk about her another day. So here is our red roan cut out, and now we're going to fussy cut around this cardinal. this is going to be tricky around the feet. So I'm going to try really hard not to swear while I'm saying this. So actually what I'm going to do is share with you some information that I found out about cardinals. There is a website called caringcardinals.com, and they have all different kinds of spiritual meanings and different things to do with cardinals. And the one that applies most to the meaning of this art piece is the idea of cardinals as spiritual messengers. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of that information. Symbolic signs appear in many forms, but the red cardinal has long been embraced as the most noble spiritual messenger who has been sent by our loved ones in heaven to watch over us. Sorry, I'm trying to read and cut at the same time and it doesn't work. To this day, red cardinals are one of the most common spiritual signs that people receive from heaven. Cardinals also have a deep connection with lost souls. People have often reported that after the death of their loved ones, they begin to see cardinals frequently. Seeing a cardinal for the first time or more frequently than usual can be an indication from your loved one that they will always feel your love and will be near you. That's such a beautiful thought, and I know that when Lisa, Dale's wife, learns about the meaning behind this piece that I'm making for her, she's going to love it. Now, because it's me that's making it, she's gonna like it anyway, because she is one of those people that just is kind about everything. But I know that the special meaning will be important to her. I don't have a lot of experience with birds as spiritual symbols. That doesn't mean that it's incorrect. You know, a lot of times when we lose a loved one, we go looking for signs or something that they're watching over us, or that they can still communicate with us somehow. And whatever you believe is fine, but regardless of any kind of belief, like, having that thought that your loved one can still see you and be near you and communicate with you somehow has got to be comforting for so many people. I know that, my grandma passed away recently, and the other day I was in a situation where I was having some anxiety issues. I was at a family party, and it was just really crowded and chaotic, and I needed to go for a walk. And as I was walking, I just said, "Grandma, do you want to come walk with me?" And I'm sure her spirit is off, busy doing other more important things. She's partying with Grandpa or whatever, but it was so nice to just be able to say that to her and just say, "Do you want to come and walk with me?" I'm going to try to get into this gap area between the legs with this knife rather than trying to use scissors. I've usually found that to be more successful when fussy cutting these little fidgety bits. So my original thought was to have the horse kind of back here amongst the trees, and then really make the cardinal the focal point. I think I kind of want to bring him up here, build up some kind of branch with maybe some packaging paper or something for him to perch on. And with Mr. Horse over here, I want him to be kind of behind some of the trees. So we're going to use this knife again. And everybody cross your fingers that this works, otherwise I'm not helping myself out here. But if we look at the design of the picture, logically, it would make sense if the horse was behind this center tree, but in front of these other two. If we look at the base, this one's obviously more far forward, and the other two are further back. So we're going to cut slits here and here on either side of the tree for the horse to kind of slide behind. Cross your fingers or pray, now is the time. Okay, I like that. I think that worked. So this is what we're going to do. Horse is going to get glued in place. So we're going to do a bit of glue behind the tree here. And we're gonna get some glue on those skinny little legs. It's amazing to me that horses do all that they do when they have such teeny tiny little legs. They have big hearts. You know, in our family and in Dale's family, we ride quarter horses, American quarter horses. They're a specific breed of horse, and they're really great for all-around working purposes. They are very intelligent, and they're, most of them, easy to work with. Sometimes you'll get a horse, maybe if you've purchased from someone else and it's been mistreated and stuff, you'll have to work with it and teach it better habits, or, you know, just different things. And some horses come with contrary personalities. My brother had a horse called Little Joe, and we always said that she was the horse version of my mother, meaning that she was stubborn and did whatever she wanted. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my mother, but you know, she's stubborn and does what she wants. We're going to do something here with the ground, just to kind of smooth things over where the horse is standing. I am not 100% sure how I want to do that yet, so I'm going to hang on to that thought for a minute. And now we need to think about how we're going to deal with Mr. Cardinal. Do we want him all the way in like this? Do we want him kind of off here where the tail goes out of the frame? I like the body position better here, but I don't know if I want to lose part of the tail. I don't know. I'm going to try a Louisa trick. So I've got a camera here. This is my camera that automatically zooms in and out, by the way, this one I'm holding. And I'm going to take a picture like this, and then I'm going to scoot this over and take a picture like this. And then we're going to look at both of them in the viewfinder of the camera and decide which one I like better. No, I like the one that's all the way in better. It's interesting how, like, just looking at something from a different screen or something can give you a different point of view. Here's what I want to do. I have some low-tack artist tape, and I'm just going to stick Mr. Cardinal with one little piece of this tape, just stick him in place for a moment, just so that while I'm playing with some of this stuff, he stays in relatively the same position. And we need to decide how we're going to work this in, because you can't have a branch just floating in midair. We have to either have a branch coming up from down here or coming over from this side. There needs to be something to tie it into everything. I have this brown packaging paper that came in a December Ember swap from Elaine from Sweden. Some of you probably saw that video where I unboxed the journal that she made for me. And I knew that I should save the packaging paper, so I've torn off a piece of this, and I think I want to kind of create a branch that kind of comes down. I don't know, is it too busy if it comes over here? Let's just play for a minute. So let's just take a piece like this. This may or may not fail epically, but we're trying things together. So I'm gonna roll it like this, but I'm also gonna like kind of crinkle. So we probably don't need it as wide as I have torn it off at. Okay, let's keep rolling. Crinkle, crinkle. All right, what would it look like if our tree branch came up like this? Or do we want it coming from this side? I don't know. Something about this just doesn't feel right. Let me ponder, and I'll come back to you in a minute. I stepped out onto my front porch and scared some deer, because I have deer that hang out my yard, and I grabbed a stick off the porch. This is broken off of my willow tree, and I thought, let's just use a real stick. So I'm going to find a piece of this stick that I think will work. Now this means that we'll have to get a more dimensional or deep frame for this piece of art, but I really think that's okay. Now let's see if I can cut this stick without breaking my scissors. Alright, I don't want it going all the way to the edge of the page. I want it on the edge on this side, but it doesn't need to go all the way down to the edge over here. And in fact, it doesn't even need to go that far. Let's cut it here. Okay, I like that so much better than the packaging paper. This means that we've got to get the branch attached to the paper, and then the bird attached to the branch and the paper. I would be okay to move the bird, and I'm going to need to fussy cut around those feet, but I want to get the stick in the right place as well, so this is what we're going to do. We've got our trusty Fabri-Tac here, and we're going to put some glue under this bit of the stick to hold it in place, hopefully long enough for me to get the bird moved out of the way. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how well the Fabri-Tac's going to hold, so I have my glue gun, my hot glue gun, on standby, just in case. And we're now going to fussy cut, and I'm going to fussy cut with the knife around those little feetsies because they are teeny. Here's another example, because we talked about horses have their skinny little legs. Birds have these tiny, tiny, tiny feet. By the way, I'm totally not staying up past my bedtime on a school night to make this. That's not happening. Don't know why you would suggest such a thing. Alright, we're going to get art glitter glue all over this bird. Thank heavens for that precision tip nozzle, especially when we get to those little feet. I am going to go ahead and put glue on the feet also. I'm anticipating having to add extra glue to hold the feet onto the branch, but it won't hurt to have some of this glue on there as well. Now you might think we are done, my friend, but we are so not done. It is time to get the snowfall texture paste. We have snowfall grit paste. This is translucent paste with clear glitter, and because it's translucent and I want it to look like actual snow, I've also gotten out my Picket Fence Distress ink re-inker. So we're going to add some white to the paste, and I've got my little palette knife here. I got my glass mat because that is the best thing for when you're mixing wet mediums and stuff. You just do it on the glass mat and it cleans up like a dream. So this, it already looks white, but when it dries it's translucent, so that's why we are adding some ink. Probably didn't need that many drops, but you know what? We're going for it. Because this is for a very important person. We're all in. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I want some more drops. I realize that I get pretty giggly in my videos sometimes, and I apologize if that's annoying to anyone, because, like, really, I don't want to annoy people. Okay, we're going to spread some of this texture paste along the branch here. Maybe not on the bird's feet. Okay, we're going to do some white splatters. I've covered up both of our animals' eyes. I hope Barbara is proud of me for remembering to do that. And we're going to use some more of this Picket Fence Distress ink. I'm just going to do a little squirt onto my glass mat and add some water just to thin it down just a bit. And I have a splatter brush, and I'm just going to go in and do splatters. Okay, so let's take off the coverings of the eyes here and we'll see how it looks. I'll zoom out a bit. Okay, so we've got our texture paste and splatters that still need to dry, but I really like this. I don't know, what do you think? We will find a frame for this and give it to Lisa and let her know the meaning and intention behind it, and I hope that she loves it and knows the spirit in which it's being given. I want to encourage all of you to find little ways to honor those you love, whether they're still here with us or if they have passed on, or whatever the case may be. Take your time with them, say I love you, and don't forget them when they're gone. And so with all that said, I want to take the time to say that I love you guys. I appreciate all your kind comments and your time spent with me in my videos. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading, crafting, or journaling. Adios.